Hey guys, Christiana here for Card Player TV, and today I've got Michael DeMichele in the studio today for the final table preview show of the $15,000 buy-in Festa Lago Championship event. Michael, thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Michael placed 8th in this event. Can you tell us how the event ended for you?
Well, I mean, I had a bad day, unfortunately. I started the day with 1.7 million, and I got up to 2.3, so things were starting to roll. But from there, I started losing all my chips. Joe Seebach opens from early middle position. I called on the button with ace-jack, and the flop came ace-8-9, and he bet, and I called. The turn brought another 8, and the river came, a brick, and he bet, and I'm sorry, it was a 7. He bet in 450,000, and I called him my ace-jack, and I regret it because he probably just wasn't bluffing there. I should have just known just to let my hand go, let my pair aces go. He ended up rivering a straight with Jack 10. So but that's life. That's poker. It's cold, it's harsh. You make a decision, and that's the end of your chips. And then from there, I doubled up because the nod decided to open raise 6-7 offsuit under the gun for some reason, and I shoved on him, and he pot committed. He had like over 2.5 to 1 or something, and so I doubled up there. And then the nod shoved on the button quite a few orbits later with king deuce suited, and I called him the small blind all in with ace queen, and he flopped a king on me, and that's it. I go home.
Wow. Well, I mean, we all know that you're such a talented player, so you're going to be there again, and so...
I hope you're right.
No, absolutely.
I rely on luck, though. If I'm a lucky player, I'll get there again.
No, everybody was saying how you played so amazingly well, and you got so deep, and I'm sure you're going to be there again. Now, for the final table preview show, figured you'd be the perfect person to speak with, since you've played with all of these guys for a couple days. So in seat 1, we've got William Meets. Now, he could be what we call the amateur other player. I mean, he satellited in.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did, and he's got the least amount of lifetime tournament caches as the rest of the players. So what do you think he's going to have to do to really overcome somewhat a short stack and beat these pros? Well,
William Meets actually seems to have all the plays in his book. He is capable of making bluffs at any moment. The guy was playing for stacks hand after hand on one of the days that I was with him at his table, and he's capable of bluff check raising at any spot. But at this point in the tournament, the blinds are so big and his stack is so small that it's kind of like it's mostly a pre-flop game. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know that much about his pre-flop game because I haven't been able to see him play a short stack that well. And from my experience yesterday, he likes to play very tight, so he might just try to fold into more spots. And I don't necessarily expect to see him play that many hands.
William, how's your chip stack going into the final table?
I think I'm the second shortest, just barely ahead of the shortest.
Now, I heard you won your seat through a satellite. Is this true?
Yes.
Where did you satellite from?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Last Friday.
Are you from Las Vegas?
No, I'm from Littleton, Colorado.
Why did you come to Vegas? Just play in this event?
To satellite my way into this event.
And now you're at the televised final table. Are you super excited?
Oh yeah.
Who do you think is the toughest opponent at the final table?
The Nod.
The Nod Medic. Why is that?
Because I've played with him this week and I've watched him win World Poker Tour events on television.
In seat number 2 is Odie Dardon. Did you get to play with him a lot before you guys condensed to one table?
Yeah, we've played a lot together the past few days, and he's also a very tight player as well. When he open raises, you should expect him to have a very strong holding. So I would expect him to also play very tight, and it's especially difficult when you have Elke sitting on his left. So he'll probably play tight and hopefully move up into better pay spots.
I heard earlier in the tournament he folded bottom set to top set.
I can't imagine doing it. I don't think I've ever laid down bottom set. I've heard stories, I've heard rumors that it can be done, but I don't think it can be done.
And now he's here at the
He's a legend in my opinion. Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
He folded bottom set to, was it top set or middle set? William Meets had it, right?
Top set.
Yeah.
I think it was another final tablist who made, I think he got 7th place. I think he left right after you.
Oh, okay. Olav.
I think it was him. Yes, and he had top set of 10s and a limp pot. That was
yeah, I don't know how, but that would have been his tournament life, I assume, if he had gone broke with it. And I got to tell you, I would have went broke with it. I just don't muck my sets. I get it in,
Absolutely. Well, now he's at the final table, so hopefully he can capitalize on his great read. Odie, how's your chip set going into the final table?
A little over 2 million.
A little over 2 million. How does that compare to the rest of the field?
Being honest with you, we just finished. I have not checked the stats, how the rest of the players are doing, but I feel good about it.
Who is the toughest opponent, do you think, that you're going to face today?
pretty much everybody. I mean, we have a great, the table is full of talent. I respect them all, and I'm ready to do my own.
Are you going to visualize winning the WPT title?
I'm already doing it.
And seat number 3 is Bertrand Graspier, and he's got the massive chip lead by 6.4 million. What's it going to take for him to take this down with such a massive chip lead?
Well, I imagine that he's going to play super aggressive. He's known to be a super aggressive player. There was a hand that I played against him where he opened an early middle position, and I re-raised him on the button, and he 4-bet me with 5-4 spades and showed it. So
wow.
He's going to get he's going to shove tons of chips in the pot, and he'll probably go on to win the tournament by being super aggressive, and while the other guys are playing a little too tight, unless he blows off his stack by playing too many hands. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see.
It seems like that could happen. I mean, with the blinds so big, I mean, if he raises and someone prices him in with an all-in and he has a marginal hand, he'll have to call. And
right.
So
I can imagine that he's going to start trying to take down every pot pre-flop, raising with 7 high and things like that. And so if, the players on his left are going to have the guts to shove on top of him, he might dump off a lot of chips. We're going to have to see.
You've got a chip lead going to the final table. Are you confident about taking it down?
Well, of course, I guess I'm a big chip leader, so if I wasn't confident in that spot, I would never be. So I'm always confident when I play poker, and I always play for the win, so now I'm in a really good spot, and I'm really excited about this final table. So I just try to play my best as I did all this week, and just see how it goes.
With the big chip stack and the blinds being so big, are you going to keep attacking, or are you going to wait a little bit and see if the short stacks knock each other out?
Waiting is not really my style, so I guess I'll keep attacking, but I'll just adapt to the situation. I mean, if I get raised a lot, or if too much short stack, I don't want to have to raise and fold, so I'll see how everything goes, but mostly I'll keep attacking, yes, for sure.
Seat number 4, Nam Lee. He's been here many times before. How was it playing with him at that final table?
Well, he's a fantastic player, and he's a really nice guy too. A quiet type, but he's a true talent, and I think Nam is also on the tighter side, but he's definitely going to put some chips in Elke's face and punish him for raising too many hands, especially with Elke being directly on his right. So I expect Nam to do well and go deep, and I know Nam wants to win. I'm sure he's hurting because he hasn't locked up a win at a WPT yet, has he?
I think that he has one. He does have one. It was 3 years ago, I believe, and he's been at this final table and been close so many times. So it's like, I think he wants another one. He doesn't have a WSOP bracelet, so I think maybe he's trying to make up for it in the WPTs or something. So I did talk to him earlier, and he said that his main, what he really tries to do at the table is stay under the radar and accumulate chips quietly. Do you think that's even possible at a table like this with the blinds so big, or is he just going to have to get in there?
Basically, every hand's going to be a showdown unless you can just shove it in pre-flop and take it down. There's not going to be that much post-flop play with the blinds being so big, of course. Unless, of course, Nam Lee accumulates a lot more chips, and then he'll have to play big pots with Elke, and that'll be a deep stack game.
Right. So who's the final tableist who you think will be your biggest threat?
It's probably the 2 guys to my left and my right. It's got to be Elke. Obviously, he's a big stack. He's hyper aggressive. And Ladon to my left, he's a tough player to play against, and it's not somebody you want to your left. I mean, the other 3 players are good too, but well, those 2 guys, I got to do more guessing.
Seat number 5, Adam Levy, also known as Ruthless Online. I haven't gotten to see him play much. What do you think his biggest strength is?
Well, he seems to pick his spots really well so far, from what I can tell. He was shoving all in a lot the past few days, and he would always take it down, or when he'd get called, he'd have the best hand. And so I don't know if he's always shoving with a monster or not, but it sure seems like he's taking down the pots when he needs to.
Yeah, he was short stacked for a lot of the way, and he doubled up a couple times, and he's still short stacked now. So hopefully he can double up again.
Yeah, he started with 500,000 yesterday, and he got up to 1.5 million. I don't know how he did it, but good for him. And now what is he down to? 1.2. So he's got just enough to shove it all in pre-flop, and he definitely understands the short stack game really well. So I expect him to know how to use his chips well. And I don't necessarily know if he's afraid of busting out and not moving up into pay spots. So he might be playing to win.
Awesome. Adam, how's your chip stack going into the final table?
It's short. I'm the short stack. Barely, but I'm short, whatever. It's been like that. It's nothing new. Been like this for the past 2 days just about. So just happy to be at the TV final table pretty much.
As a short stack, do you have a plan going into tomorrow? Are you going to sit back and see if people knock each other out, or are you just going to go gung-ho and try and double up?
I'm going gonna see what happens. I'm not gonna like pressure, like push anything. If there's a spot for me to do something, there's a spot. But if there isn't, then there isn't. And that's pretty much what I've been doing, the past 2 days, and I'm still here. So
What do you think?
we're gonna need a card rush tomorrow, though.
Absolutely. What do you think of your other final table opponents?
They're all very good. I mean, there's no one that I'm just like, ooh, I want to play a pot against this guy. Like, they all have been playing very well, and yeah, I mean, I happen to nod to my left and Nam to my right, and then Elke to like his right. So yeah, I'm not exactly in the best seat, but it is what it is. It's easy when you're short stack.
Seat number 6, Nanad Medic. He does have a WPT title. He's been playing professionally for a really long time, and he's second in chips. But he's still 2-1 underdog against Elke. So what do you think he has to do to try and take this down?
Well, that's a good question. I think that he's going to play very aggressive. He really wants to win this tournament, and that actually might come back to bite him a little bit. He might play a little too over aggressive. Like I said, he raised under the gun with 6-7 offsuit, and call my shove. So that might happen to him again. He's not afraid to get the chips in there and gamble, but at the same time, the guy has just tremendous instincts. He's just a seasoned high stakes player, and I expect him to go out there and earn some chips.
Nanad, you're second in chips going to the final table. Do you have a game plan?
Game plan? Kind of. I don't know. I'll just feel it out. But the blinds are kind of big. It's just game plan is pick up hands and get lucky, pretty much. There's not much maneuvering with the blind structure here, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I still got to think it through, but yeah.
What do you think about Elke being chip leader? He's an aggressive player.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He's tough when he has chips. You're gonna, I don't know. He forces you to tough decisions. So it's going to be a fun table. It's going to be a fun table.
I spoke with William earlier, and I asked him which player he was scared of the most, and he said you.
Really? I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I probably play with him the most. I play with him, I don't know, the last 2 days, so I guess, I don't know.
You must have impressed him.
He's scared of me, but yet he seems to move in on me every time when I don't have a hand, so I don't know. He's got me figured out, I think. I don't know.
Okay, Michael, do you have any predictions about who's going to take this down?
Well, obviously, Elke's the overwhelming favorite at this point, considering he has so many chips.
Right.
But I have to give a lot of credit to Nam Lee and to Nanad. I think there's a really good chance that they might be the winners. I mean, they're two fantastic players as well. The other short stacks are going to have a tough time taking down the title, but they'll probably fight to go deep, I would have to say. So you might see an interesting dynamic between Elke and Nanad. I have a feeling that Nanad really wants to get in there and punish Elke for being super aggressive.
All right. Do you think this final table is going to go pretty quickly?
Well, at this point, I think they only have like 150 big blinds in play.
Yeah.
So as soon as the blinds go up again, there's like 100. It's going to be a short stack pre-flop game. And yesterday we thought that players were going to go down a lot faster. I actually thought it was going to be a much shorter day. Yeah. So people are just sticking around. Nobody's busting, and that might be the same dynamic at the final table. People just aren't getting their money in and cracking, and every time the worst hand gets in, it always seems to win so far. So.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday. We were trying to get out of there, but it seemed like the short stacks kept doubling up. So, are you going to stick around and watch the final table?
Actually, no, I don't think so today. But I mean, I have sat around and watched final tables before. They're a lot of fun to sit around, but I got stuff to do today.
Awesome. Well, we wish you were there. We were rooting for you, and I'm sure we're going to see you there again.
Yeah, I wish I was there too. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming by today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Christy Arnett with Michael DeMichele for Card Player TV.